All right, let's dive in. Today, we are cracking open one of the most powerful technologies out there, something that's literally shaping our world as we speak: deep learning. You probably use this technology dozens of times a day, maybe without even thinking about it. It's that little bit of magic that unlocks your phone just by looking at it, and it's the smarts inside your voice assistant that actually gets what you're saying.
So, okay, we know what it does, but the real question, the big mystery, is how. How on earth does a machine learn to see and hear in a way that feels so human? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out.
And it turns out the secret isn't some crazy new invention. The inspiration comes from the most complex and powerful computer we've ever known, our very own brain. Okay, so what is deep learning, really? At its heart, it's a type of AI that uses these things called artificial neural networks to chew on huge amounts of data and learn from it. And that key phrase right there, inspired by the human brain, that's everything. These networks are literally designed to copy the way our own brain cells connect and fire. And that's where the deep part of deep learning comes in. Think of it like this. A shallow network with just a few layers, it can learn pretty simple stuff. But a deep network, well, it stacks layer on top of layer on top of layer. Each one builds on what the one before it learned, letting it grasp way more complex and abstract ideas. You go from a basic understanding to something much deeper. Okay, so it has layers and it's like a brain. Got it. But how do those layers go from just being, well, layers, to actually seeing something? Like, how does it look at a photo and know there's a cat in it? Let's follow the data and see exactly how it works. Believe it or not, it all boils down to a pretty simple three-step process. First up, you've got the input layer. That's just the front door where all the raw data, like all the pixels from an image, comes flooding in. Then, that data travels through the hidden layers. Now this is where the magic happens. Each layer does its own bit of analysis and then passes its work onto the next. And finally, you get to the output layer, which spits out the final answer, the prediction. And here's how it actually builds up that understanding, step by step. It's kind of like how we learn. The very first layer might just see simple lines and edges. The next layer takes those lines and says, hey, these look like basic shapes. Then the layers after that start piecing together patterns. Eyes, ears, maybe some whiskers. And after it all passes through enough of these layers, the final one can put the whole puzzle together and go, yep, that's a cat. It's amazing. It builds incredible complexity from the simplest possible starting point. But here's the thing. Deep learning isn't just one magic bullet. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It's much more like a high-tech toolkit packed with different specialized tools, different neural networks, for totally different jobs. So let's grab 3 of the most popular tools from that kit. First, you've got CNNs, convolutional neural networks. These guys are the visual experts. They're amazing at scanning images for features, just like our own eyes. This is the tech behind Face ID and what helps doctors read medical scans. Then, you've got RNNs, recurrent neural networks. Their superpower is memory. They're built to handle sequences, like the words in a sentence, which is perfect for things like Siri or Google Translate. And then, you have the transformers. These are the modern heavy hitters. They understand context and subtlety, and they're the engine behind mind-blowing chatbots like ChatGPT. Okay, so we've gotten a peek under the hood at how this stuff works. But that brings us to the really big question. So what? Why does any of this matter? What is this technology actually doing in our world, right now? And the short answer is, deep learning is pretty much everywhere. It's the brain in a self-driving car. It's the co-pilot helping a doctor spot diseases in scans with incredible accuracy. It's what lets you have a conversation with the chatbot. And it's even making the AI in your video games smarter. Its influence is just massive, and honestly, it's growing every single day. And in fact, it's not just a part of the AI puzzle anymore. It's basically the engine driving the whole thing. Get this, something like 90% of all modern AI innovations are powered by deep learning. It's become the central force, the main event, that's pushing the entire field of AI into the future. When you boil it all down, it really comes to this simple idea. Deep learning is the brain of modern AI. That's it. It's the thing that lets a machine learn, see, and understand the world in ways that, not too long ago, we thought only humans could. And that leaves us with one last kind of mind-bending question to chew on. If this really is the AI's brain, what in the world is it going to think of next?